Hello everybody, we are going to be making a special hat today with a really special pom-pom on top. So you are going to start with a black marker or a pencil if you would like. I'm starting right away with a black marker because I know that I'm drawing a pretty simple shape, so I'm fairly confident I can get it right. So first I'm going to start at the bottom of the paper with a big rectangle. It should fill up almost the whole space. Then you're going to draw a big kind of rainbow shaped arch on the top. Don't worry if it's a little bumpy or wiggly wobbly because that's how beanies are in real life too. Then after you are done drawing your shapes, what you are going to do is you are going to take something and color it in. Now I'm going to be using crayons and an oil pastel along with watercolor markers, but you could absolutely use just colored pencils or markers or whatever you have on hand. Don't feel like you need to do it just like mine. You can feel free to color it in using any supply that you would like. So I'm going to start here with a white oil pastel or a white crayon, and then I'm going to be adding more patterns with different colors. So you can color your hat however you would like. You could add like a symbol or an image if you have something like that on your hat, whether it be a brand name or maybe a Monticello magic symbol. It is totally up to you. But I'm just doing simple patterns on mine, like stripes all the way down with different patterns and colors. Then you'll see that once I'm done adding these patterns and colors with my crayons, what I'm going to do next here is I'm going to use the paint to paint over the top of them. So what this is going to do, boys and girls, is that the crayon and the wax that the crayon is made with is going to push away the watercolor paint. So that in art is called resist, when something is pushing away or repelling whatever is on top of it. So this altogether is called a crayon or a wax resist. That is the technique that I am about to use here on my hat. So you'll see pretty quick how once I get my brush wet with water and I wake up my watercolor paint, you see that I can still see my lines and it doesn't get covered up by my watercolor paint. That's because, again, my wax from the crayon is pushing away or resisting being painted. You can paint or color this, again, however you would like. I'm doing kind of rainbow-shaped stripes, but you may color it however you want because you are the artist, so you make your own choices. Then pretty soon here, boys and girls, I am going to be starting to make the pom-pom portion. Now again, if you don't have yarn at your house, don't worry, you don't really need to include this part, but I am going to do it just for fun. If you want to follow along, you can. So it's pretty simple to make your very own kind of pom-pom. All you need is a piece of yarn and some scissors. So first I'm going to cut a small piece of yarn about as long as my hand. Then I'm going to use my 4 fingers and hold it with my thumb. I'm going to wrap it around and around and around. Make sure it's not super tight because you are going to want to get this off of your hand later. So depending on how many times you wrap it around is how kind of thick or full your pom-pom is going to look. So make sure you do it a number of times around so that you have a really nice, thick, and plump pom-pom. Then you're going to slowly take that off of your hand. You can use somebody's help at home if you need it, a parent or a sibling. Then you're going to wrap that extra piece of yarn around so that your yarn looks sort of like a bow. Then I like to use this piece of yarn I cut from before and just make sure that it's super tied tight in the center so that it doesn't unravel. I like to double knot it too. Then you're going to just cut the loops on each end. So you can cut a lot at once or one at a time, however it works best for you. So I'm just cutting all those loops and then cutting those long strings also that I tied around. Then you're going to just kind of fluff it up. So you're going to pull those pieces of string apart so that your pom-pom's really nice and fluffed up. Then what you're going to do is you are going to cut out your hat. So I'm just carefully cutting around my edges. And then you are going to need some kind of glue as well. So it doesn't really matter what kind of glue you use, but I find what works best and what sticks the strongest is hot glue. But you could use just Elmer's glue if that's all you have on hand. You just might need to wait a little bit longer for it to actually dry. So once you cut that out, you're going to stick your pom-pom on there. So I'm using a hot glue gun here and just sticking that on. Then you're all finished with your beautiful winter hat.